Hey everybody, I'm Miranda Alt with Keller Williams Success Realty, and today is Wisdom Wednesday. And today we're talking to Julie Pirtle of the Pirtle Law Group. Julie, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Today we're going to talk about real estate law and just sort of what is an attorney's role. And I refer to Julie for most of my transactions. Everyone that I can get to use Julie, I usually prefer because I think, Julie, I think you do a fantastic job with all of my clients, and so I trust you. So Julie is with the Pirtle Law Group. So first question for you, Julie, that a lot of people, I don't think they understand is, what does an attorney do during a real estate transaction?
Okay, so it depends on which side you're on, if you're on the buyer side or the seller side. So it's very important at the front end for buyers because we help buyers navigate the attorney review process. After you sign the contract, you have a certain period of time for the attorney to review it and make sure it's acceptable, and the home inspection process. And then, so we help you determine if you should be asking for repairs, if you should be asking for credit, if this is a contract you should proceed with. And then we docket all the deadlines to make sure that you're meeting your loan contingencies and all of the obligations you have under the contract to ensure that you are not in breach of contract, because that is how you're going to lose your earnest money. And then at the tail end with the buyers, it's important to have a buyer have an attorney at closing because they review the documents that you are required to sign, specifically your loan documents. They go through that with you. They can explain every page in detail, or they can say, this is okay, please sign it. And that depends on the client. Every client is different. So that's what we do on the buyer side. On the seller side, we do the attorney review period, but we're not asking for repairs or anything, but we are negotiating if the buyer asks for repairs. And then we are ordering title. We are reviewing title, making sure there aren't clouds to title. We are reviewing, we are ordering survey, and then we are preparing all the documents required to transfer ownership of the property to the buyers.
Right, like HO, if there's a homeowners association, you order all of that.
Correct.
What I think a lot of people don't know is how much is involved in terms of like the paperwork of closing. And I've had people ask me before, do I have to have an attorney? And they don't. But for what, I mean, my next question was going to be, what do you charge? And
So for a buyer and a seller, we usually charge approximately $500. It's a flat fee. For the sellers, real estate attorneys get paid a portion of the fees that the title company charges, because they work with the title company to make sure that there aren't clouds to title, that all of that is cleared. And there are areas in the country where people don't use, there's areas in the state where people don't use attorneys.
I know.
Yeah. And
I can't imagine.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, usually it's the title company that prepares the docs, but there's major issues about whether or not you're practicing law without a license. And for a small fee, I think $500 in the grand scheme of hundreds of thousands of dollars is a small fee to pay to make sure that you're protected.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing that I've always told clients is I'm like, look, for $500, this attorney is going to protect you through this transaction. I think it's worth it. And it's not like if you don't use an attorney, you're going to somehow save so much money. It's not, it's $500.
Right.
End of discussion. Right. And what I didn't know before I got into real estate was like ordering the title, and then the fact that you order the survey so that the seller really, ordering the survey, if you're working a full-time job or even just taking care of kids or whatever it is you're doing, it's a lot of work. It's a lot to order the survey, order the title, order the the homeowners association, dealing with those homeowners associations. Thank you. Can I just take this moment to thank you for dealing with homeowners associations for me so that I don't have to? Because it's a pain.
Especially the small ones that have a homeowner who's the president who has to prepare all the documents. It's hard to get a hold of those people. And a lot of these things have to be done on a certain date by a certain time. And if you're not tracking those dates, then if you don't prepare those documents or order those things on time, you're in breach of contract.
Yeah. And you can lose your earnest money, or you could be sued if you're the seller. Right. And the other thing that people don't know is if there's a well and septic, if someone's on a well and septic, you guys take care of that whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is super helpful as well. So there's a lot that you guys do. And I think for $500, it's a steal. The other question I had for you is, what are the hurdles to selling? Because I think that's something people don't think about.
Yes, I kind of mentioned that. As far as the title goes, there can be clouds to title. That's what we call them. So things that prohibit you from transferring until those things are cleared. So your mortgage is a cloud to your title. You have to clear that before you can transfer ownership. Mechanics lien. So if you had a contractor prepare, put a deck on your house and then they don't think they were paid, maybe you don't think they did the work, they can just record a lien against your house. That doesn't necessarily mean they're owed that money, but you have to take the steps to clear that lien before you're able to transfer ownership of that house. A death in the family, if someone's on title that has deceased, or a divorce, all of those things are steps that we will help you navigate to clear those issues from title, back taxes, anything like that. So we will help clear all of that. That's what we do with the title company. That's the work that we do. And we make sure that we can, get payoffs for the liens, pay off that information, negotiate mechanics liens to ensure that the seller is able to transfer the property and get out from underneath it if that's what they're looking to do, or move on to the next step of their life.
Right. Yeah, I think for the amount of work that you guys do for what you charge is an absolute bargain. So I think you guys do great work, and I always recommend that my clients use an attorney, and hopefully they use you, and I can get them to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's one of the things. Yeah, and you want to make sure when you're picking an attorney, whether it's me or someone else, you want to make sure that they're staffed, that they're not, that they have the resources and the time to allocate to your contract. And so if they don't have the proper staff, if they don't have the time, if they're stretched thin, then there's also a chance that things could get missed. So that's a question you should be asking your attorney before you hire them. And that's something that your realtor knows about the attorney that they're referring you to.
And if they regularly practice real estate law.
Yes, true. That also.
I've had other people that say, oh, we have a family attorney, or we have a family friend who's an attorney, but they don't normally practice real estate law, and it is a complete mess. I had one this spring that they chose to use a family friend, and the family friend did not practice real estate law in McHenry County, and they practiced in Kankakee County, and they'd only done one transaction. So they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't order title. They didn't order survey. We almost got sued. We almost lost the deal. It was a big disaster. So
and that comes back on you at the end of the day, not
they were mad
the attorney. I mean, you can sue it comes back on you, and it comes back on the party to the contract. You can ultimately, malpractice exists for a reason. You can sue that attorney, but that's just a lot of hassle for you. And if you do your research up front, you know that you're getting the right person for the deal.
Right. Don't just use a friend if they do not regularly practice real estate law. Take them to dinner. Don't let them handle your transaction.
I mean, if a friend of mine came to me and said, hey, I was in a car accident, will you sue the person who hit me? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say, you don't want me to. Or if they say, hey, I got a DUI, will you help me? I'm going to say, absolutely, you really don't want me helping you with that because I don't know what I'm doing.
Right. It's not the type of law that you practice. Yeah. Right.
Exactly.
Well, and that's why I refer to you, Julie, because you keep it in your lane. You know what you do well, and you do it well. Perfect. Well, Julie, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your expertise, and I appreciate your time. And those of you that are looking for a real estate attorney, if you want to look up Julie, you can reach her at 847-428-4664 or jpirtle@pirtlelawgroup.com. I'll put that in the comments below as well. Julie, have a wonderful day, and everyone will see you next Wednesday. Again, I'm Miranda Alt with Keller Williams Success Realty. Thanks for watching.